Hello guys, welcome to another video with Cass on the Maizuma channel. Look how cool the lamps are, guys. Alright guys, finally I'm going to do the tutorial for my food farms, which are good for both carrots and potatoes. And yeah guys, so this farm is awesome. To be honest, it's awesome. I can't say enough good things about those. And what I'm going to do is to explain how this thing works so we'll understand how good it really is. I'm not lying to you. And then we're going to do the tutorial, of course. So I designed this farm 2 years ago, I think, when I was playing on the Harpemire server. So this was experimental. And well, it has worked through all the versions from Minecraft 1.9 something up to Minecraft 1.10, 11, 12, and it works in Minecraft 1.13. And it's really good, guys. The villagers alternate between planting, harvesting, having some idle time, and sharing. Maybe there's something more like breeding, something like that. But the reason why most farms use two villagers is because the harvester will eventually notice that there is another villager who's starving. So the harvester, which has a full inventory, will share its food with the starving villager. And in this process, we will kindly take some of those items by stealing. With this farm, we are still going to steal some of those items, but in a different way. So you probably noticed now that the villager stays at the center of the farm most of the time, which is a very much desirable feature because it keeps the villager as close as possible to most of the spots on the farm where he can see everything and harvest things and do its job. You can see the behavior of the farm. So she plants the first one, tries to plant the second one, and both will pop. First one, second pops. First plants, second pops. And this is what allows us to get all the items, because underneath those blocks we have a minecart with a hopper, which is an entity capable of getting items very quickly. And then all you need is hoppers and chests. You don't need any redstone at all in this farm. I just used redstone here because I like this kind of storage. I like to see the lamps turning on and off. But those are just indicators. All I have behind these are chests that throw items inside each other in a zigzag pattern. So mostly the items come down to this chest in here, and you can see the hoppers at the back here. Time to talk to you about the other advantage of this farm. You saw that sometimes the villagers go idle, and even though they have work to do, they don't want to do it. And the way to make this farm even more efficient is by having more villagers inside. But they're not going to be starving villagers that don't do anything and take up space. They're going to be active villagers, while this guy is doing basically nothing at that corner. I see you there. What you can have another villager working on this one or trying to replant things. You don't have the food sharing behavior, which slows down farms. And as you can see, the farm is smaller than most. And this is for two main reasons. First, you don't want your villager walking around everywhere on long distances, especially because of the idle behavior. And second, there's a bug in the game. Well, according to the changelog, they fixed it, but I'm not sure they really fixed it. And as you can see, I turned on the chunk thingies in here, the chunk borders, and then you can see that this farm is perfectly aligned at the center of a chunk. And this is because sometimes when transitioning between one neighboring chunk and another chunk, a entity can disappear, which is very bad, since I designed this farm because I really don't like moving villagers around, especially in earlier versions of the game where villagers can actually control mine carts. They can do whatever they want, and they're really annoying. You cannot use leads on them because they're not animals, and there is nothing that attracts them, like emeralds or carrots or anything. So yeah, moving only one villager was the most beautiful and productive thing that I have ever made about these farms. So yeah, farm that can be efficient, really good area efficient. I think it's 99.2% efficient in terms of area. Everything inside here is basically plantable area. No items wasted inside the inventory of the villager. Requires 0 redstone and cheap. And as I will show you, those are extremely easy to build as well. All right, guys, so let's build those farms side by side. So as I mentioned before, it's important to chunk align those farms until this bug gets really fixed. You guys can update me in the comments if this has been actually fixed by now. And as you can see, the lower level of the farm is completely unaligned with the chunk. And then we have the borders outside of the chunk. So this is a total of 16 by 16. You don't need to do your floor the way I made mine. But here I made it like so that you can see the important spots that you need to mark. And we're going to do this right now. So from any diagonal, you can count 4 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And on the 5th one, you place a marker, just so you know. So skip 4 blocks, 4 here, and 4 here. Is this 4? No, this is 5. So it is like this. And it's a good idea maybe to mark the center of the farm. And now we need just to place dirt everywhere. So I already have a command for that to save us time. And yeah, you can start by doing that. You can build a wall around your farm. It doesn't need to be glass. Leave a little entrance for you and your villagers. And as you would expect, those spots in here are where you're going to have your water. If you have an ice farm, it's a good idea to use ice blocks in here instead of buckets, just because of inventory management. I will also waterlog these blocks just because it's Minecraft 1.13, but you definitely don't need to go through this step. I'm just trying to make my life easier, and it's a good idea to build a few pillars in here, just so when the villager collects anything around it, items don't fall on top of this waterlogged block, because there's a chance that you will lose items in this case. Now we're going to take care of the lighting system, which is the crucial part of everything. So we're going to do most of it now with just one part that I will leave for the end. Okay, so from those pillars, you can just, extend lines that go to the borders of the farm. And then you place on top of each pillar one lighting block. This is also why these blocks are glass and not any other block. And those can be either glowstone or jack-o'-lanterns, no problem with that. And then you skip 2 blocks and place lamps on those. So 1 block from the border or from the edge as well. Let me do all of those. It's really easy to do. And this is phase 1 of the lighting, and then we need to cover everything with the ceiling. This is what the ceiling looks like after you cover it and add the lamps, and this is how it looks from the inside. So now you can make everything into farmland by using your hoe. All the soil will eventually get hydrated by the water that you have strategically placed. And it might as well be a good time to plant the carrots. Alright, so here's the tricky part. Even if you have farmland blocks in here, you are not going to be able to plant on those blocks. I'm clicking and I can't do anything. So in order to fix that, you need to lower this lamp 1 block down here, and this one also 1 block down here, which allows you to plant in here, but not on those 2 blocks, which is going to control and harvest or collect items from the villager itself. And now we need to place a minecart inside this block, which I like to use a trick to do that. So we need to destroy those 3 blocks, and you need a hopper. I will have my hopper facing this way. I will explain later. And now place another block in here, and if you place 3 rails in here, you can see that those won't connect, but this little curve will stay. So just place your minecart in, give it a little bump, and it's going to be inside the block. So now you can break the rails once again, and you can place your blocks in here. You can give it, if you're not able to place your block in here, you can just get this minecart a little bit to the side. And now let me get a hole in my inventory, and I can fix this guy. Alright, so now carrots are going to be able to be planted everywhere except for here, and they are going to be actually collected by the system. Believe it or not, at this point your farm is ready to be used. And all you need to do is to bring a villager inside. This villager has to be a brown coat, so I can spawn one in. So this one is a fisherman. It works in the same way. So for instance, let's try to bone meal some of the crops in here just to test the farm, so you can see it working. So hopefully this guy will detect the village soon enough. Actually, I'm going to spawn more than one so you guys can see that it indeed works with more than one. So yeah, this guy already saw the crop and it's going to replant, and now it's already at the center. I can close this thing now, and the items that get harvested are all going to be inside this hopper in here. And if you want to make it simple, just start placing chests in here and you're going to collect your items. But some of you guys don't want to make it simple. So I did the following modifications just to make it easier for you guys to understand through the tutorial, but of course you will be building this in survival. So I just removed the ceiling, and down here I extended this hopper line. I added lamps down here in the same pattern that they were in the ceiling because I'm going to be cloning those units. And here you just have to add a pattern like this. So hopper facing down towards a chest, hopper, chest. All right. So at this point, what I can do is to just stack units on top of each other. Let's see, I guess like so. So this is another one. This is another one. Let's do 4 of those. Another one. And 23, I guess. So now we have 4 of those. And we can also fill the... Well, you actually need to do the patterns again. So there you go, guys. Those are all the 5 farms stacked with the villagers inside, all the crops planted and everything. Yeah, super simple, super cheap. Yeah, those farms are all the same, so don't forget to place your minecart hopper inside each of these farms in here so that you can collect all the items. All your items will end up inside this chest in here, so you need to make sure that this chest leads to somewhere adequate, so a big storage system, and it really needs to be a big storage system, guys. Um, in my survival map, I have 4 of those for each kind of crop, so 4 of those for wheat, 4 of those for potatoes, and 4 of those for carrots, and I spend most of my time throwing items away. So really, guys, you don't need all of this. If you think this is a small farm, don't let the looks deceive you. This will produce loads of items, a lot more than you can keep up using even on servers. And I also would like to give some credits to Unary Bits because the core concept that makes everything so simple and amazing in this farm is the concept of using light level to not let crops be planted on specific spots of the farm, which was exploited first and discovered by Unary Bit. So I'll leave a link to his channel in the video description in case you guys want to check this out. He has one of the most popular designs for food farms like this as well. And another thing that I almost forgot to tell you guys that's quite interesting, guys. All these farms can also be mixed, and I'm not just talking about having like one layer for carrots, another layer for potatoes, and such and such. I'm saying that you can actually have carrots and potatoes in the same layer. That's because those villagers, as I mentioned before, their inventories are empty most of the time, so it doesn't matter what they're planting, as long as what they're planting is what they also collect, which is why also this won't work for wheat, because they will take the wheat and make bread, and you know, they will keep the seeds and everything. So just for carrots and potatoes. But what some people also don't know is that planting things like this slow down growth, having all of those crops side by side. But when you alternate with lines of potatoes and other lines with carrots, even in a random pattern, is going to be more efficient for you. So if you want to try to have carrots and potatoes in the same farm, you should know that those are going to be more efficient. But you also should know that in my experiments, eventually one of the crops will take cover. Most of the time it's going to be carrots because uh, potatoes sometimes will yield poisonous potatoes which can't be replanted, but carrots will always be carrots, so they have this slight advantage. So guys, this was the tutorial. I hope this was helpful for you. If you leave a like on this video, it's going to help my channel a lot. I really need this. So yeah, if you want to help me. So I also have a survival series. If you want to see me building this thing, I actually built this 3 times on different places, including servers. So please check that out too. Thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you soon. Bye.